Hey, welcome back to training. And I want to talk about is if you're a realtor, you want to, the only thing left in your hands after the home inspection is the home inspection report. So if it's a hot mess, you're having to do a ton of extra work. Now, if you only do one or two inspections a year, kind of part time, then it's not that big of a deal. But if you're getting up to the point where you're doing two, three, four houses, maybe a month, then man, time is so important. You can do as many houses as you want, as one realtor said, but you just run out of time. So, in my opinion, the first thing that is a confusing inspection report is if the inspector writes the report room by room. In other words, you have a kitchen, and then in the kitchen, you have a plumbing issue, you have an electrical issue, you have cabinet issues, you have a lighting issue, and then you have a stove issue if they even look at the stove. Um, so then you go to the garage, and then you might have an electrical issue and maybe a drainage issue and maybe a garage door issue. And then maybe you go to the exterior, and now there's an electrical outlet issue out there, drainage issue, and then a foundation issue. But what's happening here is each one of those, like we've gone through three sections, but there's been three electrical issues. So now you as the realtor has to like accumulate all that material and then call an electrician and go, I got something over here, something over here, something over here, something over here. Let me show you what we do. And this is how we inspect the house. And this ends up being really useful. From when I hire someone with a little bit of experience, the training that the states and NACHI require doesn't really get them all the way across the line and get them ready to actually go out in the world and inspect. So what we do is we do roof, then we do attic, then we do exterior, then we do electrical. So when we do electrical, we do the service, the electrical panel, the meter, and then we go all the outlets on the outside, all the outlets on the inside, the lights, the fans, and then ceiling fans and anything else electrical. Because why? When we have an electrical section here, and again, I've told you before, but we do our snapshots so everybody can see everything. We do like a little video. And of course, it's not going to make noise. There we go. So again, your clients could see what was going on there. But then any electrical issues are fixed by electricians typically, right? And so we want all electrical issues from all parts of the house. If you think about take apart a house all the way apart and put it all the way back together, you've got all the different systems. You got in the walls, you have plumbing, you have electrical, you have framing, you have structural items. I mean, if a window doesn't shut properly, some people might think that's a window issue. But if you accumulate it with a settling crack and a drainage issue and some foundation damage, it's no longer just a window issue, it's a structural issue. So it's really important that we bring the right professionals in after the inspection report to tell us how we're going to fix these issues, okay? So that's number one as far as like avoiding confusing inspection reports. Don't do room by room. You got to do system by system so that the final report that you have, all of your plumbing things are handled by a plumber. Even like we consider like drywall issues in the garage to be interior rooms because again, the same person that fixes your drywall here in the living room might fix is going to fix the same. I'm sorry, it's going to be the same person that fixes the drywall in the garage. So the person that fixes it is the thing. Second of all, I personally hate the 80-page PDF that says it's really looked at, it's really looked at, and then there's no sort of like degree of severity with the issues. Even like 1 through 5 is confusing because like, okay, so we found an issue, it's a 4, it's a 3, so here's what we do. Sorry. Now this is not our software, but we use it in a way that no one else does. So we rewrote the entire template because if you just use the template that comes with the basic Spectora account, it's very bland, it's very vanilla, it doesn't cover a lot. Ours has hundreds, probably thousands of items. Our inspectors, when they're on site, almost never have to write anything up, which is why our reports are delivered like on the spot. But here's what I think is the most important part. Blue, orange, red. Blue, super minor, caulking, just very small issues. Orange, not really an issue yet, maybe a cracked tile on the roof, debris on the roof, a drainage issue without foundation damage. So what you want to do is eventually want to get to all those things because if you ignore them for 5 years, some of the orange items are going to become red items. Red items are either causing an issue right now, an expensive fix. I mean, if the roof is totally shot, it's going to be a red item because they're so expensive. Or it could actually be not very expensive items, but safety items. So if you've got just loose wires hanging around, or you have, it's an older house, there's no GFCIs in the bathrooms or in the kitchen, smoke alarms are missing, the drywall that's supposed to be fire protected in the garage is missing. Those are all safety items that if something goes wrong, they're gonna cause a big issue right now. So those would all be red items. And again, what happens then, as the realtor, your job is like to become an emotional manager for your clients. And so they're less likely to sort of get emotionally aroused, like roused up over a blue item, or much even an orange item. But the red items, that's really where you want them to spend their time. Now, we've learned a lot over the last 15 years, 15,000 plus inspections. So there's a lot of really like interesting information that we've learned that we kind of teach the client about the inspection process so that they avoid headaches after the inspection. There's a certain amount of information we have to share with them. We give them lifespans, replacement, costs, but that's a lot. You don't need that. Like they need that for home ownership. They don't need that for like the purchase of it, right? So here's what you do. If you work with us, underneath the picture of your inspector, you click on summary. And all of that extra great home ownership stuff goes away. And all you'll see is orange and red items, okay? And this keeps your clients very much focused on the right things. Now, if there are, look, some houses don't have red items. Well, let's start there. Now, if there is red items, you just click, again, primary defects under the inspector's name, and you'll only see the things that are causing like an issue right now. So let's look at these really quick. The water pressure was above 80 PSI. The reason that's red is because the piping in the house isn't really designed to go over 80, so basically that could cause a leak at any second. So we're gonna make that red. It's super easy to fix. It actually doesn't cost anything to fix if they've already got the regulator valve. Any leaking inside the house, so this thermal camera showed that the toilet is leaking, and we labeled it second floor bathroom. Smoke alarms are damaged, so that's no good for obvious reasons. And then we did find a leak backed up with thermal camera, moisture meter, no visual sign of it, but we basically did find a roof leak. So that's, again, you don't want that to get any worse or create mold. And then we did actually find mold underneath the kitchen sink, so we're gonna recommend a mold evaluation. And I'm not gonna go too deep on that, but there'll be a mold short class like this. So those are my tidbits on how to basically, because you hire 2 inspectors, especially if you're a newer agent, and you're like, well, it was price, was it? And if you're new, you don't even know what questions to ask. You don't know what's out there, what's available. So hopefully now that you've seen this training, even if you're not working with Inspection Over Coffee, which I'll be honest, I hope you are, you'll have some ideas of best practices that are out there. And if if your brother's wife is an inspector and she's not doing all these things, then you might want to talk to her about that, about upgrading her business to do what's in your guys' best interest and makes your lives a lot easier. So now that you see these items and you kind of know the best practices are out there, color coding. One other thing, videos. If a report doesn't have videos, it's super stuck in the 1990s, which I've said before. And again, all of our videos of the roof, videos of the attic, videos of the electrical panel, all that kind of stuff. Again, just makes your life super easy. There's nothing ever confusing, and you're just off and running. So I hope that gives you some insight as to best practices and kind of what's going on in the inspection world, and you're able to make a good decision in your inspector referral process. Okay, we'll see you in the next training.